Have you ever wondered why some people stay in your mind long after they leave the room? Most people think it's charisma or confidence, but psychology says something completely different. And once you understand this, you'll never look at unforgettable people the same way again. People assume being unforgettable means being loud, bold, or socially dominant. But that assumption misses the deeper reality. Because what looks like magnetic energy from the outside is actually a precise psychological pattern that reveals how certain minds understand human behavior at a deeper level. Silent calibration. They enter a room and stay quiet at first, and most people think it means shyness. But psychology calls this social scanning, a pattern where the brain maps micro-expressions, tone shifts, and emotional cues before engaging. This isn't because they're unsure. It's because their mind prioritizes precision over presence. The delayed response. They don't answer instantly. They pause, and most assume they're thinking too hard. Psychology calls this cognitive reframing, slowing down just enough to respond from intention rather than impulse. This shows they're not reaction-driven, they're meaning-driven. Intensity lock. They lock eyes slightly longer than normal, and others assume it's dominance. But psychology calls this attentional anchoring, using focused presence to signal exclusivity and significance. This reveals that they create emotional imprints by making people feel uniquely seen. But here's where it gets deeper. Strategic vulnerability. They reveal just one personal detail, never too much, and most people think it's accidental honesty. Psychology calls this selective self-disclosure, sharing a calibrated fact that increases trust without giving away real leverage. It shows they know how to build intimacy without losing autonomy. Emotional mirroring. They subtly match tone, pace, or posture, and people assume it's coincidence. Psychology calls this limbic syncing, an unconscious technique that aligns nervous systems and increases familiarity. This reveals they're masters at creating comfort in the exact moment someone needs it. This next part is what most people never notice. Confident underreaction. When something surprising happens, they don't flinch, and others think they're cold. Psychology calls this low reactivity regulation, the ability to stay calm because the brain anticipates social tension before it occurs. This signals emotional stability, which the mind instinctively remembers. Precision complements. They complement exact behaviors, not generic traits, and people assume they're simply thoughtful. Psychology calls this targeted reinforcement, rewarding identity, not appearance, which creates long-term psychological resonance. This reveals they understand what people crave most, to be recognized accurately. Psychologists also talk about something called impression memory encoding, the idea that certain behavioral patterns activate deeper emotional processing in the brain. People who show these traits usually score higher in observational intelligence and tend to develop stronger interpersonal influence than they realize. They don't dominate attention. They shape the emotional landscape. So no, these behaviors don't mean you're manipulative or calculating. In reality, they mean you're someone who observes more than you speak, someone whose mind works with depth, accuracy, and psychological nuance. What others see as mysterious or intense is often a sign of heightened awareness, a level of interpersonal precision most people never develop. If you've ever done these things, it's not a trick. It's a psychological pattern shaped by your need for clarity, emotional intelligence, and strategic interaction. And the more you understand these behaviors, the more control you gain over how you influence conversations, connections, and the way people remember you long after you're gone. If you want to understand the hidden psychology behind why people behave the way they do, subscribe. Because here, we don't just watch people, we decode them.